Hello all. I had to write an essay recently for English 101 about the best meal that I ever ate. And I really liked what I wrote because I thought it was a little bit crazy, and I love crazy. And so I decided to share it with you. So, without further ado, carbohydrate frenzy. Low carb. Crunches. Protein. Hunger. My mind was numb to anything beyond those four meaningful words. It had been 3 weeks since I had stopped eating carbs. No bread, dairy, rice, pasta, or sugar had dared to touch my lips. My girlfriend and I had spent every waking moment past work hours at the gym, getting ourselves into tip-top shape, each pushing and sweating and dying for perfection, our minds decaying with each ounce of sweat lost. When out with friends, the extent of our conversations included our fitness goals, and why the low-carb diet was superior to anything else out there. At home, we lay cocooned in each other's arms, too fatigued to move. We thought of ourselves as deities, here to give everyone something exquisite to gander. We were miserable. It was at my place of work, rotting away behind a counter, that I was face to face with my own deprivation. You see, I work adjacent to a pastry display. This display, most unremarkable in times of abundance, was unnaturally eye-catching on this fateful day. The glass seemed to gleam and thrum with life, and each sugary, bready bit seemed to scream, "Sam! Sam! Eat me! What's wrong with you?" My stomach was doing somersaults, and had been grumbling since I'd awoken. I could feel my mouth watering with need. Was this where I fell apart? Was it right here amongst tea kettles and strainers that I would gain back everything that I had lost? The answer was simple. A bagel was necessary. Our bagels are not perfect bagels. In fact, they could generally be considered subpar, dry pieces of nothing that sold every now and then, but were really only brought to make sandwiches. But today, they were perfect. Today, one of them was just the shining beacon of hope and sin that I had longed for. They stared at me from the pastry case on this quiet, rainy morning and called out to no one but a half-starved, carb-deprived, and desperate barista. "Don't," I warned aloud. I wrung my wrists nervously, tapping my toes against the bar stool. I glanced at the door, semi-hoping that someone would burst through and tear my attention away. I was strong. I didn't need a bagel. I had spent hours in the gym and curbed scores of cravings in the past 3 weeks. Those golden, preening bagels were nothing. I peered around the lounge. A fox in the roost. Suddenly, I threw my weight forward and tore one out, the oily dough giving where my nails sank in. I sprinted back to the bathroom and locked the door behind me, and here it was. Here was the answer to the pangs. Here was the answer to the physical hardship I had endured. This small token, which suddenly was the most scrumptious and delectable thing I had ever seen, was now purchased by my filthy hands. When I held the cool sphere to my mouth, I briefly felt disgraced, in the sense that I had worked so hard to be good, but that feeling was fleeting and disappeared almost entirely in that second when my mouth closed around it and chewed. My God, I almost purred. A little shiver swept over my spine while I chewed. This was heaven. The aroma of yeast mingled with sugar overpowered the crushing smell of urine that filled the air. I was drunk with pleasure. My mind was popping. Were our bagels always this good, or was I dreaming? Surely they were better baked today, I reasoned. I pulled the bagel away from my face, and crumbs danced off my chest. There was that guilt again. What I was doing was wrong. What I was doing was defeating all of my hard work and determination and the stick-thin physique I had obtained. I suddenly hated what I was doing. I spat out the bagel. Then I took another bite. What was I doing? My senses short-circuited with lust. I spat, froze, took another bite, chewed. I repeated this mad cycle over and over until there was nothing left in my hands but remnants of saliva and proof that I was human. Fulfilled was I, after giving in to the hunger and indulging in what felt like the best meal of my life. I felt curbed. Even more, I felt empowered because I had not swallowed a bit of it, okay? This bagel, in all of its glory, had saved my sanity in a tough and admittingly self-induced awful time. Now I just needed a salad.